Test, test, test. What is up? What is up? Sorry, we're not sure what J Wolf settings were on. So I gotta make sure he's on 18 plus or I'm on. Okay, I see his name pop up, so I'm just waiting for him to get on. Sorry, I'm texting him right now. How's everyone doing? What is up? 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 Sorry, catching up on my phone and stuff. Catching up on my phone. Sorry, guys. I appreciate that, we the people. I appreciate that. J Wolf. I'm doing good, Combat Dad. I'm doing really good. Really good, really good. Really good. I'm excited for a bunch of stuff that's I'm trying to do, I think. I'm excited for all kinds of stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited. I love talking to people. I love talking to veterans. I love talking to service members, right? Damn, I don't know. I have fun on here. So I just have tons of fun on here is what I'll say. And I'm passionate about it. And I love all of it. I love all of it. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Tiffany. If you guys can tap it up and share it out before we get cooking, I'd greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Not just for me, for J Wolf too. I think he's an outstanding guy. And I'm excited if he gets on. Na, 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 na. He's on. All right. Let's see. There he is. Look at that. It's working. Invite. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. 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 What is up, brother?
Tell me I'm coming in good.
Perfect. I got you loud and clear. Loud and clear. I'm excited.
Dude, this is wild. Oh, man, I don't get no Kobe jersey?
What was that?
I don't get no Kobe jersey, bro?
I wore my nice shirt today. Wore my nice shirt, my professional shirt.
Your special shirt. Damn. I thought for certain I'd get another round of the Kobe. I meant to tell you the other day, listen, man, if you were to ever come to my house, you can't leave that shirt around there. I'm just being dead honest, brother. That man right there, God, bro, what a dude, man.
Absolutely. You talk about a mentor, a leader, man. I mean, he was an asshole, but it's okay to be an asshole and still be a good leader. Like, that's possible. So,
dude, that's just crazy. My father, and I am no good at basketball, no. But I loved watching Kobe, man.
Yeah,
What he
man.
do?
All athletes are just amazing. It's a crazy talent to have, right? Doesn't matter what sport it is. Shit, even like the Olympic curlers, man. Guys like hitting them brooms. I'm like, Jesus, dude, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Oh, this has been a wild ride right here, brother. I can't even tell you what humble is until you'd have to sit in my shoes, man. You are a pillar in this community, bro. You are, and to be able to sit and just chat with you and bullshit with you, bro, that's just amazing.
I appreciate it. I don't. It's weird, man. A lot of people tell me that. It's just I don't know. I guess when it comes down to influence, like I guess it doesn't matter how big, small. It's at the end of the day, it's really not about like followers, right, and viewership and all that. I think it's like just the same reason that I talk to other sergeant majors and we've had some discussions. It doesn't matter how many people are in the chat. If one person takes something away, that's what it matters at the end of the day, right? Changing one person. So one effect.
Yes.
All right, man. Let's get into this.
I don't expect any softballs from you, brother. So fire.
Awesome. So this is episode 1, right? High stakes conversation. We got Jay the Wolf on here, and my goal for this, right, is just to hear people's stories, man. Hear people's stories, people who I respect. Inside TikTok, outside of TikTok, I'm talking to a couple other people that I really respect that are interested to come on and do this with me. I'll be dropping it on YouTube. I put it on my video, shameless plug, starting a high stakes conversation YouTube channel, and I'll post all that stuff. And I'm not a super editor yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. So without further ado, we got Jay the Wolf. Jay, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining me, right? I just want you, for the people who don't know you, tell us who you are and give us a quick snapshot of what your life was before and what your kind of military story is.
Okay. So, born and bred in South Florida, to the typical suburban family, man, fighting check to check, just trying to survive. Good parents. Actually, it's very strange. Amazing parents. Amazing. A lot of love. That'll come back later in the story. They were, dad's always your hero when you're a young boy. Then when you become a teenager, you're your enemy. Then he becomes your best friend when you're an adult. So my life prior to the service was all South Florida. I was raised that mom is the most important thing on earth. There's nothing above her. Dad's a big boy. He can take care of himself. But mama is everything. And I love that. And that's just, I still believe it that way to this day. That'll come back even harder in this. So, typical geeky little white kid, man. All into the hip hop, trying to fit in everywhere. Growing up in South Florida, the hip hop scene was huge, bro. So, like, that's always been in my heart. People used to make fun of me all the time, hey man, white boys don't rap, white boys don't rap. White boys, you can't mix country and rap. Brother, I would have been a millionaire. Are you kidding me? Colt Ford took off, but I was convinced back then, and I was always scared. I don't know how to explain it. My dad engraved in my soul, always have a backup plan. Worst advice I've ever gotten. Always have a backup plan. If you don't have a backup plan, you have nothing to lose. And I hate to say it that way. My dad was my best friend. But man, having that, it choked me. It really did. Come from a strong military background, every male in my family. So, every male. Everybody was a commando of some sort. I got, long story short, got into a fist fight with a guy, went and got some stitches in my hand. The next morning, I am sitting at an Air Force recruiter's office. Said, I need to talk to you. He says, you running from the law? I said, no, sir, a woman. He says, oh, come on inside. We sat down. I had taken about a month prior, I had taken the ASVAB. And I had scored rather high on the ASVAB. 90 percentile, I don't remember how high exactly, but 90 percentile. High. Was really happy about it, but the Marines weren't taking anybody at the time. And they didn't want to go my dad's route. He was a drill sergeant in the Army back in the Vietnam era. Bro, grow up with that for a dad. Rough. Like when they were encouraged to put hands on me. You know, it was rough. So I went and I said literally, probably the only name you'll ever hear me drop because that man kick-started my life. My service wasn't long, but he kick-started my life. Staff Sergeant Greer. I went and sat down in front of him and I said, my dad served. He was a DI. He knows all this stuff. He says, man, I need to look at the fine print on the contract. He says, why? I said, because I need to read it. He said, okay. So he slides his paper across the table from me. Brother, I grabbed the pen and signed and pushed it back at him. And I said, now tell me what I'm in for. And I took around with him for 3 days to different schools. Got to hear everything I was in for. But he's a recruiter. So he's trained to learn about you. And he learned very quick I was a mama's boy. So the one thing he didn't tell me was that I wasn't going to talk to mama for 3 or 4 weeks. Or I'd have told him no. I straight up would have said, nope, this is not happening, bro. But I did it. I went in, and I was a rather athletic guy. I was a quick shipper. Went in the end of 96. I was an athletic guy, and the Air Force wasn't very athletic back then, brother. I'm going to just call it what it is.
They're still not. They're still not.
I love my boys in blue, brother, but man, it's so embarrassing. I'm sorry, guys. I hate to say that, but it is. I went and excelled at basic training. It was the time of my life. I went into air transportation, loading aircraft. First duty station was No Hope Pope. There's only one reason they call it No Hope Pope, man. If you start there, you'll finish there because you're not staying. Naturally, that's how it went. But on my way out, I did the thing that they brief you about. Now, I'm in prior to 9/11. There is nothing going on. You're loading aircraft. There's small things going on, but nothing that we're involved in. So when I go to get out, I did the one cardinal sin that everybody said not to do. Don't ever marry a stripper. I'm not kidding you. I married the first stripper who let me play with her. And when I say life fell apart, from the moment my feet hit the ground in Miami, I went from being proud German to being nothing. Instantly. Life fell apart from there. I wound up deep in the street pharmaceutical center. Married to a woman who was pregnant. Really no future. Instantly. I mean, brother, this is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, man. Done. Life is falling apart. Went from military to nada. And I fought tooth and nail to provide for her. She had the baby, and the first tragedy struck. Life kind of started to sink. Yeah, I didn't know we was gonna go this into depth. Wow.
And we don't have like if you get uncomfortable at all, brother. If you get uncomfortable at all, like just let me know. Just let me know.
When I said absolutely transparent, I am transparent. I am transparent. Um,
To take a we'll take a middle break from that, right? What is the one lesson that you learned during your military service that still impacts you today?
don't quit. Well, no, bro. There's several. There's several, and it'll segue for us later. But there is several. Article 2. What's Article 2 of the Code of Conduct?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. What is it?
Surrender of my own free will.
There you go.
I have a card, Vietnam era, from my father. It's his actual Code of Conduct card. Been all over this. I have it to this day. It's sitting in his urn. That is a big one. Never quit. Never quit. Which is wild because of where this story is going to go. And I never thought it would get as bad as it didn't. And I'm 100% transparent about it because I need somebody out there to hear it and have it affect them like the story did affected me. We are literally not having this discussion if I didn't hear one person's story. And what it amounts to, I have this analogy. I'm not going to try to read the chat. I apologize to you all.
Don't worry about the chat. Don't worry about chat. This is just conversation between me and you. Me and you.
I like that, brother. Man, when life hits you, bro, like military life was good, and I learned never to quit, how to actually be a stand-up man. Probably one of the best. Stand up for what's right. You know, my patriotism was already at a good level, but you know as well as I do, man, there is something about putting on that uniform every day.
100%. And you know what's crazy with that? I didn't grow up from like a super strong military background, right? Southern California kid, very political out there, right? I didn't know anything. I had like, I come from like a very broken family, is what I'll say. So I didn't have a lot of interaction with my grandfather. I did late in my military journey, but he had served in the military for 20 plus years, but he just wasn't influenced on my early childhood, right? But what's crazy is that passion to serve your country, it didn't come for me until after I raised my right hand, because I was one of those guys like, yeah, I'm joining the Army. One, I hate high school. Like, I hated high school. I did great in high school, but I fucking hated it. And I was like, I ain't going to college. I need to find something else to do, right? And then I went to the recruiter station, and it was in my senior year. And the first recruiter I had, my uncle, I lived with my great uncle throughout my high school years. First recruiter got kicked out of the house. Like, get the hell out of here. And I was like, oh shit, sorry, man. Uncle Jerry's his name. I was like, Uncle Jerry says you can't come in here, bro. I'm done. And like a couple months later, I get another phone call, and it was my first interaction with a female soldier, right? And she was a staff sergeant, and she's like, hey, I'm coming to your school. I'm tracking. We're not allowed to go to your house, right? She knew when my birthday was and all that. So she pulled me out of school for lunch, signed me out because they're allowed to do that. And next thing I know, it was about 3 weeks after high school graduation. I was on a plane to Fort Knox, Kentucky, going to basic training. But I didn't get that urge, that feeling, until after my first deployment, when I just got locked into the brotherhood, right? Going through those experiences there for me, that's when I got like my will to be like, man, we are doing important things here.
I would see Dad coming from where he was at. I was raised around vets constantly, so it's always been a big thing. always. And I was really proud. And I became really ashamed once I came home. And literally just started to tear my life apart. I got to Miami, and it took 9 months for the marriage to fall apart, for me to go from 195 pounds to 129 pounds, and move to North Central Florida with my parents.
With that, with that going into the transition, right before we get there, when did you first realize your military chapter was over? Like the military chapter of your life?
When I realized I didn't feel, honestly, like I was in the military, dude. I didn't. We were not doing anything. When I say the leadership that you guys have, is like you went in, you said you're 19 years?
At night, I hit 20 in October.
I'm sorry, I should have stayed, brother.
Don't apologize. Hey, real quick, and that's one thing. You know, I hit on this all the time. Be proud of your service. That is your service. Like, do not apologize for anything like that.
When I realized, honestly, the Air Force was not for me, was when you walk into a shop and people would be asleep. Like, I didn't think the Air Force was for me at first when I realized that during basic training you had 1 day of nomenclature, 1 day of dry fire, 1 day of 330 round magazines for live fire. That's 3 days out of 7 weeks.
So,
My father told me the day that I graduated, my father said to me, "How do you feel?" I said, "I thought I'd join the military." And I hate saying that, but when they say chair force, everything is behind a chair. It is. And, you know, I'm not down in them. I was bright enough to be able to make it into that. But the more people get to know me, you realize, I was a wrong branch. 100%.
do you think?
That,
What do you think? Because obviously, there's some tone of regret there. Is like what I'm hearing, right? What do you for the future soldier, the soldier or civilian young guy or gal that's getting ready to join? What is your best piece of advice to them to not experience the same thing that you experience with your route going in, and eventually kind of realizing like, you know what? The Air Force was not for me. I don't know why I signed a contract with them. I should have went Army. I should have went Marines.
yes. Military is the military. I don't care who you serve. I think everybody should. If you're physically able to, I think you should. Best advice I can give you is probably 3 parts. Go into basic training, become a sponge, become a robot. Listen to comprehend, not to reply, because you don't get to reply. But listen to comprehend what they're telling you. There's a reason behind it. Trust the process. Those instructors, man, you need to talk to drill sergeant. He would be able to explain that first. Drill sergeant, nobody. They are trained to do that job. There's a reason. And they will fix what you have broken. My father made me trust in that process, and they fixed a lot of what was broken then. And I tore it apart after. But the biggest thing is, don't be someone who is sitting there 25 years after the fact saying what I say every morning in front of my mirror. Sergeant Major, every morning I look in the mirror and I go, you should have stayed in the military. I've done that for 2.5+ decades. Biggest regret I had. Almost fixed it at 31. We'll get there. Oh, man. Dude, that will, as a soldier, it'll choke you and make you feel like, damn, dude, really? We'll get there. That won't suck. So, moved back home with Mom and Dad. They lived in a little podunk town called Ocala, Florida. It's all known for horses and country folks, and here comes the hip hop junkie moving into a country town. Didn't fit in right away. Kind of always feel, honestly, like I don't fit in. Different ballgame. But I started life. Started living with mom and dad. Started framing houses with my dad. Went out on the road. I think I've been here about 6 months. Went out on the road framing houses in Atlanta, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. Came home on a weekend. Now we were going to stay home for a week. So we were hanging out, and I get a call from my dad. Your mom went down to Miami to go see her mom, and she's lost. Y'all been gone from Miami 2 years. Man. How is she lost? I don't know, but I'm headed down there to get her. Like, it's that serious. Man. It's a weird thing. And you talking about a 6-foot redhead, Italian, mean as a rattlesnake, whoop my ass on a normal basis, dude. I mean, just for not for GP, for the thought process that you're going to do something. I seen the look in your eye. I became who I am. But didn't make any sense. Comes home. He gets her home. He had a real bad headache, man. Real bad headache. Now I've moved out, living with a woman, and she's got 2 kids. She wants another. That's always been a condition for me to have kids. So I get a call. We're taking your mom to the hospital. It's my dad and my sister. This headache's really bad. Bad enough you're taking her to a hospital? No. What I'll meet you there. She is shaking with convulsions over this headache. I tell the doctor, I said, what do you think this is? Oh, this is a sinus infection. We're going to give her this. I said, that's not a sinus infection. It becomes an argument to the point that that's the most important person on my planet. My life's wrapped around this woman, dude. I see her almost daily. I send her home. 2 days later, my dad calls and he says, you need to meet me at the ER. Get to the ER, and she's catatonic. Bro. I just left a military career for a stripper who cheated on me and got pregnant with somebody else. Living out of mom and dad's house. Then shacked up with a chick who don't really like me, but different ballgame. And I'm drinking heavy, smoking a lot of green, and my mom's sick. I didn't know what really to think of it. I go to the hospital. This doctor says they had already run a CAT scan. This doctor says, I found something. I said, what do you mean? And they show us. And this is, I got a big fist. Down the size of my fist. And it has cut off all cognitive ability. You can't do anything. I'm sitting there, trying. My dad always impressed upon me to keep a military bearing, and I tried. He says, I want to do a biopsy. When we do the biopsy, I have to open my head. So they open her head. They do a biopsy. Comes back cancerous. And the kind of cancer is called a glioblastoma. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. What it is it develops on one of the lobes of the brain. And it doubles in size every 21 days. This is not treatable. Fightable, and you can live, but the sentence you get is the sentence you get. They told us without surgery, 90 days. With surgery, no time. So, man, I gotta apologize.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize at all. It's heavy stuff.
Dude, um, they do the surgery. They remove everything they can, and overnight she was the same person. But after the surgery, I'm sitting. Now I've been raised. You don't lie, especially that redheaded firecracker. You don't lie. She got heavy hands, man. And whip a belt off.
She'll get you.
You don't lie to people like that, man. Mama's got a heavy hand and a redheaded Italian. I don't know how that happened, brother. You gotta understand. I gotta put some humor to it because my favorite subject is my parents. God, what amazing people. But man, I want to whoop my ass on a regular basis. So, we're all sitting there, and when I say we're all, I come from a big family, and there's about 40 of us in the waiting room. And my aunt comes out and she says, God rest her soul, she says, we're not going to tell Susan that this is going to take her. She doesn't need to do this. And they are literally walking around the room going, do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? And if there was 40 people there, 39 of them said, absolutely. And then she got to me, ironically, dead last, and I said, for 21 years, you have all told me never to lie to this woman. Now, the most important thing that's ever happened to her in her life, and you want me to lie about it. That's not going to happen. And they begged and pleaded, and I finally told them, whatever, just leave me alone. So everybody went and saw her one at a time. Here is literally the stepping stone to it falling apart. I walked into that recovery room, and behind a curtain is the strongest person I've ever known. She bore my 10-pound fat ass, natural child. And she laid in that bed and looked so frail. And I felt bad because I actually climbed in that bed like a child. And I sat, brother, I wept for probably 30 minutes. The nurse literally came over and pulled the whole curtain shut, and I laid there, brother, and I cried the hardest cry you could imagine. And when I got done, she let me sit and cry. And when I got done, she said, baby, I've told everybody you're going to come in here. And you're going to tell me what's going on, because nobody will tell me. And I said, Mama, this is going to take you. And it's not going to be long. She looked at me and she said, baby, we're going to make the best of what we got left. And I saw her twice a day, 7 days a week, for 13 months. Which are 45 minutes every day. 1 month. Tried to hold it together. I put on a smile on my face. Side note here. Listen, all of you who are trying to put a smile on somebody's face, when you go into that situation, they know. Be honest with you. Just be honest with them. If it hurts, let them know. I didn't learn that until the very end. Now, I hit the very end. I learned that she was very honest. But I hid it from her for a long time. Now, one day in that year, away from her, she made me do it. And I spent it in the bathroom sink. I was so distraught. And I promised her it never happened. She can't ask me to do that. She passed on February 21st, 2001, just before 9/11. 3 days before their 28th anniversary. Stood at my mom's funeral, and I looked at the crowd and I said, I now know what's going to take my dad, because she was his everything, and he'll die of a broken heart one day. That'll come in. Helped my dad get through that. At the end of it, my dad and I had it out. He had lost the love of his life, his best friend. And I had lost the most important person in my life. And we went separate ways for 2 years. Immediately, I fell off bad into that little white lady, that white powder. And I spent a vast majority of my 20s there. A lot of money, a lot of broken teeth, a lot of heartache, a lot of bills not paid, a lot of stupidity, a lot of real bad things, man. I was working the bar scene at night and framing houses during the day. Never a good idea. Burning the candle at both ends. I grew up on fire watch, bro. Like, my dad would make me go to bed, drink a tall glass of milk. Because in 2 hours, I gotta pee. I'd get up, come get another tall glass of milk, and I would check every outlet, check all the doors, check all the windows. I grew up on it. It's funny, man. I was raised in a tactical environment. You just, you have a father like that. Everything is tactical from the time you knee high to a grasshopper to the time you move out of the house. I've lived my life that way. When Mama went, I went off the deep end, man, for years. I left the one woman, got with the most popular chick at the bar, spent almost 5 years living with her. Relationships that start out in infidelity, they don't end well, bro. They don't end well. And that one did. So, we split up, still framing houses. I moved out, went out on my own. First time I've been alone since the service. Didn't work out well, went heavy into the street pharmacist again. Met a woman. Right before I met her, I went to a doctor. Really wanted a child. Oh, shit. I gotta back up. I apologize.
No, don't apologize.
I went off on a tangent on Mama. Okay. So, most important thing, I wanted a kid. Man. How many kids do you have, brother?
6.
Damn,
Oldest is 12. Youngest is 8 weeks right now.
Brother, you got a basketball team and a coach.
Yeah. 6th man of the year is what I call the baby. That's 6th man of the year.
Yes. Was. Oh, I love that. I love that. I wanted that. Met a girl working a bar. She got pregnant. She disappeared, bro. For 4 years. Couldn't find her. Mama's gone. Dad's estranged. Walks back into my life. She's got a 4-year-old son.
Woo.
Yeah, buddy. Spend the next 3 years with this boy. Yes. She is with somebody and finally decides, you know what? We need to be together. So why don't we just, I'll leave him and we'll hook up and everything will be fine. We'll be one happy family.
Jay, are you still, at this point, are you still battling addiction? And are you still...
Heavily. I was spending on the recreational side, without the alcohol, $300-400 a week. Easily. Just for me. Bro. I mean, it had gotten bad. Got so bad that big family I come from, They turned around and walked. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I let them have it. But man, and to add to that, that never happens with kids. I never did that in front of a child. Didn't even like drinking in front of a child. And having this new son in my life was sobering when he was around. I'd get him on weekends, and that was nope. I play during the week. With him on the weekends, that's all it is. She leaves this abusive relationship. I'm living on my own. We get together. She moves in, and for my birthday, she goes because a man had signed the birth certificate. She's convinced. She's told me for 3 years I am the father, but somebody else had signed it at that time. And in order to get that off in the state of Florida, you have to have a blood test. So she went and got the blood test, and it turned out to be that guy. I'm beyond gut wrenched, bro. And I have never hit a woman in my life. But I drew back and I swung, and I thought about halfway through that swing. Like I said, transparency, brother.
Yeah.
I am 100% transparent. We were standing at the back of my truck, and I wound up punching the bed of the truck. And I shattered my forearm up on an angle like that. Broke it right here in 3 places. I have a 6-inch plate, 4 pins, 3 screws, holding it all together. And I'm fine now. I was fine immediately after surgery. But shattered it pretty good. Threw her out of my life, to the dismay of a whole lot of friends. You know, well, you've been a part of his life. You're right. This was dirty. She told me all along there wasn't even another candidate. She knew. She knew there was another candidate. This was dirty. And it broke me, which now here we go again. It's a repeated cycle. It's a repeated cycle, man, at this point in time. I do not have my life together at this point in time. I'm still in my 20s. I am 28 or 29 is this long. 28. We split up, and I meet a woman, and just beforehand in this transition, I decide I want to go to see if I can actually have kids. Because I've actually been trying in several different ways with several different partners. I was horrible through my 20s. Horrible when it came to men. If I wasn't dating somebody, I was living on my own, bro, I was horrible. I'm the guy you want your daughter to talk to now because I will tell her everything that we knew. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every single trick, everything we said as a youngin'. Oh no, honey. No, he said this. No, he's trying to get him some. I was that guy. And I warned them all. I don't trust any guys. You'll know the one to trust. You don't trust any guys until you know the one. You know what I'm saying? You'll know. So I find out through everything that I put in my body, brother, cannot father children. Twice I thought I had. Now I'm never going to have that. That was hard. That was hard. It changed me in the fact that now there is a prerequisite with any woman I'm going to be. She has to have kids. I want to be a dad somehow, even if it's as a stepfather. So I meet a woman. She has 4. Very athletic. One beautiful little girl, 3 teenage boys. One of whom winds up being his sophomore year of high school, one of the top tight ends and defensive ends in the state of Florida. It was a really, really good match with me and those children. Really good match. I fell in love with them overnight. She was the most toxic person I've ever met. Like I said, I don't put any names out there. Never will. I will never down anybody like that, but she was bad. You don't speak to your children like you. And our relationship lasted 7 years because I fell in love with Kristen. A couple years after we met, my father and I patched things up, went back to work together. It was great. I had an amazing time. We became the best of friends. He married a woman. You remember that? You ever heard that joke about, good Lord, son, don't ever marry another woman? It just sucked the energy right out of you. Yeah, I felt for my dad. He was a good dude. But we became the best of friends. It's funny how the older you get, the smarter the elders in your life get. And the older I got, just the smarter. The things I started realizing, he never was not on my side. He was for me the whole time. Backing up briefly, a month after my mom was diagnosed, my father has his first heart attack. He gets with this woman, marries her, has 3 more in the next 3 years, and the third one, and the fourth of the total. So now I am 9 years removed from my mom dying. Now dad's gone. My family don't talk to me. I have a sister. I will never down her. We went different. I wish her luck the best, but we haven't spoken to her. I'm 48. I haven't spoken to her right after I married her. So, Pops passed, and I lost me. I don't know how to explain just going through the motions. No purpose. Didn't care. Didn't want to care. All I lived for was those 4 kids. They were my everything. The woman and I didn't get along. We put on a front for those kids, but I was in love with those kids. One by one, they started to move out of the house, man. Patience, brother. The empty nest is amazing. It is. My Call of Duty game got strong until now I haven't played Call of Duty since December. I've been on TikTok. So, my Call of Duty game is strong. But anyway, the kids started to move out. Now we're down to 1 boy, 1 girl. And the arguing intensifies to the point that she puts hands on me. Now, the reason that my first wife and I split up was, on record, she put hands on me. My wife and I were talking about this today. The shitty thing about society is that when you hear about a relationship that got physical, husband and wife that got physical, what is the first scenario you thought? He did it. He beat on her. You know, that's the first thing you think. So, unfortunately, that stigma in the public literally says, you know, that would be I hate using this term, the norm. I don't want to use that term, but that's what we would normally think of. But when the role is reversed, and the dude has been beat on, bro, it takes your fucking manhood. Like, I was a shell of a man after my first time. Why I went on all the drugs. I was trying to self-medicate in any way I could to fix what was going on in my head. It was so bad. Those were cute. See, I got you up on the big screen on the computer. Whoever said that was cute. I need a screen for that. Oh, Lord. Oh, jeez. I got it, too. Oh, y'all got to understand. Brother, I appreciate you, Justin. Can't see. I cannot read the phone. So we got into it one day, this woman and I, and she got physical, and I said, "That's it. I'm out of here. Can't do this. I want to put hands on you, but I'm not going to get beat on." I left. Told me I would be a part of the kids' lives, like the father. Visitation, the whole 9 yards. I said, "I'll pay child support, the whole nine. We'll sign everything." A month later, she realized I was serious and we weren't going to be together, and she cut all ties. Bro, I spent 7 years of Little League, Pop Warner, basketball, high school. I coached those boys to 6 championships with one of the greatest coaching staffs in Pop Warner history. And my life revolved around those kids. And for the first time, I was sober. And it was for those kids. And took it. And I was told, "You're not going to get this back." And I said, at 18 years old, they will all come find me. Well, the 2 young. The other 2 already had. And at 18 years old, they came and found me. And I got to hang out with them as adults, and life was good. Felt like I had 3 kids, 3 sons. But brother, you got a girl? You know that feeling? Yeah, I love them boys, man.
I got 4 girls, 2 boys.
Gentlemen, you're outnumbered.
Oh yeah, that's all. I got 3 dogs though. They're all boy dogs. So.
Oh, God, I missed her, dude. And for the next, when the woman and I split up, she was 11. And for the next 7 years, bro, every few months, I would get a text, a message on Facebook with pictures of that young lady sent from her mom. And I would beg to speak to her. And that was that thing she held over my head. Not until we're back together. Nope. 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 Wow. That was gut-wrenching. I watched her grow up in pictures. And at 18, she called me back. But we'll get to that. So, 3 months after me and that woman split up, I met my wife. I had 15 years with her. 15 amazing years. Amazing. We have been through being homeless. She is the one thing that's kept me from going back the route I did on trying to self-medicate the way I did. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate you. Transparency, brother. The only thing I mess with anymore is the greenery, and that's it. That is because at any given time, there were several conversations with my mom, my dad, work, my wife, the things I've done wrong to my wife, my self-doubt. That seems to be the only thing that quiets that thing.
Sobriety is, whatever you're comfortable with. I come from a background family of AA, like big AA and NA. And it's whatever, it's for you, like the program's for you is one thing I've kind of learned about that, right? And whatever your stance is on, leisure, medical use, whatever, the fact of the matter is there's medical properties behind it, right? And I can't wait to retire is what I'll say.
Hey, living where you're at, let's not even go there. Anyway, man, God, I love you, dude. You're a different dude. I swear, you. So Major Roads, Wheezy, and I hate loving up on the brass. I'm sorry, as an American, I would expect you to understand. I hate loving up on the brass, but I love her. If you are straightforward like that, it doesn't matter what your gender is. That's the kind of person you need to follow. And anybody watching this who's hearing me name those names, you need to find them and follow them. I'm dead ass. There is. If I had this kind of leadership, Drill Sergeant Nobody, Black Hawk, seriously, if I had this kind of leadership, I never left. I never left. You'd have to throw me out. There is no way I would have left.
Appreciate the kind words, man. Appreciate it. This is about you today, though.
I love you. So I had been sober for these children. When we split up, I finally got my own place, and life started. It was bad. I didn't have anybody to turn to, dude. I had a dog. I didn't have cable. I didn't have a bed. I had a single wide trailer, man. It was bad. Fell off the wagon for a brief second and realized I was going to get worse. So I went back and stayed. I've been clean. My wife and I have over 15 years together. I've been clean from anything hardcore, and 90% of the alcohol I do not drink to excess. Maybe a drink now and then. Over 15 years.
Wow, congrats.
It is. I was telling Marine Mike the other day, there's another name. We're going to talk shameless plugs all night. Another shameless plug, find Marine Mike. I was telling him the other day, we were talking about addiction, and there's not a day that goes by. Like, not one that I don't think about it. Not a single day is coming. But you got that's where the rubber meets the road, man, and you got to be able to say, nope, no, I can't do that. I can't go that route again. It took everything from me. Straight to my teeth, bro. I gotta have fake teeth. Because it took everything. And I let it. That's the biggest lesson I can give to anything I'm going to say tonight. You take accountability for your fucking action. The way I'm not responsible for my mom dying. I'm not responsible for my dad dying. I'm responsible for my parents or for my family walking away from me. I'm responsible for living with women who put hands on me in toxic relationships. Those are my things. I did that. I let that go on.
Jay,
and it's gonna be.
I want to highlight that right now. I've seen a couple names come into the room. I'm not sure they're still in here, but just to generalize this, right? This is a common thing that veterans go through, right? The addiction, right? After leaving military service, the struggles, right? Keeping family, right? Getting back on their feet, right? So, two-part question for you, right? What was the turning point of like enough is enough, and you just everything started to go on the up and up? Because you've had, with your story that you've been telling us, sharing with us, a lot of ups and downs. Like, oh, I'm doing it. Boom, something else. Boom, something else. For that veteran that is really struggling, and I think it'd be great if they heard it. What was your turning point? And then were there any resources that you use, whether they're veteran, government, it doesn't have to be like, what was that thing that just kept you on track? I know one of them is your wife, and thank God for her, right? But was there anything kind of else for that struggling veteran right now listening to you talk?
Find somebody better than you and emulate. I heard those words, and that was a big turning point. I got with my wife, and we'll get to that. When I heard those words that came out of DJ Shipley's mouth, we'll get to that later. I understood that right away because I've always tried to surround myself with people better than me because I wanted to learn from them. That's when Dad died, my veteran community disappeared. Gone. 100% nobody was in it. Because they were all through death. And they were all family members. Like I said, we all served. And they all turned their back on me when I fell off the deep end. The turning point for me to turn it back around, the first part of that would definitely be me finding somebody who we met weird. We met weird. Should we get into that?
It's
I
up
mean,
to
I
you.
don't.
It's up to you.
I don't know how long. I don't want to keep you all night, but I can. She's sitting here smirking because it is kind of fun. So, I am very into line dancing. Very good at it. Like, really good at it. And I meet her at a bar. She is doing a line dance to a song called Copperhead Road.
Oh, I know that
I don't know
song
if
very
you've
well.
She's out there doing this line dance. Now, for 4 weeks, I have watched her. One of those weeks she wasn't there, I was pissed. She was sick. I seen her the first week. My buddy convinces me to go to this bar. She walks by me. I've worked bars. I count every time she walks by me. He says, man, that's like 6 times she's walked by. I said, it's 8. I've been counting. Now, all I've been watching the whole time is this really low-cut purple blouse she has. And roll your eyes. So we walk. She keeps walking by. I start trying to think of some game, and I run out of it, and I go home. Week number 2 comes up. There she is again. I'm going to talk to her this week, bro. Week number 2 leaves. I still ain't talked to her. I don't know why. She just... Oh, I got the puzzle piece. Hang on a minute. That is cute, this little puzzle piece thing they do. All right. So, that'll look great on YouTube. So, week number 3 comes and she's not there. She's sick. I didn't know, but I asked the bartender about it. I said, the cute Asian chick. And she's like, oh, that's Deborah. Good luck. Oh, challenge accepted. I got this. So the next week, how do I put this without TikTok being... The next week is Cougar Night at the bar. Brother, I am 32 years old. Yo, look good. That I do. So she's out there dancing. And I walk over to her. Start dancing next to her. Now, I'm not doing the line dance. I'm doing the line dance, but I am really that guy that does all the spins. I'm showing off, bro. I'm showing out completely, trying to get a hold of her. Trying to get that attention, you know what I'm saying? And after that, she goes to walk away from me. And Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me comes off. Well, I have line dance to that. So I said, do you know this one? She says, no. I said, come here. Let me teach you. Took her 4 walls. She had it. That was it. I've been with the woman for 15 years. From that moment, that was it. So we agreed to meet the next night. I say to her, we sit down at a bar. Before we get there, I have a wardrobe malfunction. Pants rip. I always want, bro. I wear stranglers, bro. I wear stranglers. Look, and I got a very large truck. Very large truck. So I go to get into the truck, rip pants. I'm going to be late. I get changed, fix that problem. Meet her at the restaurant, and man, gosh, she looks amazing. Bro. And we sit down at the restaurant, and I said, all right, first question, right off rip. I'm going to clean this one up as best as I can for TikTok. Do you like Nookie? She laughs and she says, yeah. I said, good, because I've spent 7 years with a woman who didn't. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk. Bro, I'm getting the craziest look you've ever seen. What? I said, why are you here? What do you mean? I said, what brought you to be sitting in front of me? Why are you not married to somebody? And she says, well, I've been with this guy. I said, no. I want to know what you did here. Yeah. Now I've got her attention. And she's, I don't know. How long did you enable it? That starts the whole conversation. Long story short, we go out to the bar. I lock my keys in the truck, trying to kiss her. Doesn't work out. We go home. She stays with me that night. I say, I have 2 weeks of no work, just enough money to sustain me for 2 weeks. Then I go back to work. I said, so you can stay here as long as you want for that 2 weeks, but I can't leave. I can't travel down to your house. She lived like 40 minutes away. She says, okay. So I clear her out a drawer. I have this dog, a little pit bull. I love my things. She falls in love with the dog. Dog falls in love with her. Dog does not bark when she comes back with her clothes. So I guess she should stay for a while. That was 15 years ago, and she hasn't left. I've been waiting for 15 years for her to leave, for her to get smart, and for her to find out better. After 15 years, she stayed. Really briefly here, not briefly, we skipped over something. I apologize. I was talking about the old lady and mom and dad. That was my favorite thing. Backtracking. While coaching those kids, I was, like I said, I was built pretty good. I'm out there coaching kids in Pop Warner, the higher ranks in high school. Built rather well. Took care of myself. Had a great CrossFit regimen. Remember that CrossFit?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I had a great CrossFit regimen. This gentleman, whose son I'm coaching, is a recruiter fixing to get out. And he makes a joke because I didn't have any working with Peter or her talking to one of the coaches about it. He makes a joke. And he says, you know what? I bet you I could get you back in. I said, I'm 31. Age is 32. You would have to do it quick and don't fuck with me. I'll sign right now. And he said, we'll see. Into practice comes, and guess who's standing by my truck? Put my money where my mouth is, huh? Okay, here we go. Gives me his phone number, and he says, call me tomorrow. I need your driver's license. I said, what? He says, I'll give it back to you tomorrow. I hand him my driver's license. He pulls everything up. Gets back in contact with me. We spend the next 7 weeks fighting, bro. I'm talking, I go to MEPS 3 times. I go first to retake the ASVAB. Score 1 for the old guys. 92. I'm digging out my papers, my 214, my everything. They're stuffed in the back. I don't have any things. That kind of bothers me. But I think I'm going to order my whole deal just so I can put that. Anyway, so this man goes through hell for me, bro. I am talking late night phone calls with the NGB, everybody he could get a hold of. He says to me, what do you want to do? I said, what can I do? I said, I'm a carpenter, man. I've been a carpenter a long time. He says, I'll smack you in the face if you want to go and be a carpenter with a score like that. Jesus. What's open? He says, anything. You know what movie had just come out? The Hurt Locker. I said, 89 Delta. He said, EOD? I said, yeah. He said, darn. I said, quit fucking with me. He said, what do you think of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri? I said, dude, I'll leave right now. So I go back down for your normal MEPS. Just the duck walk, pee in the cup, your normal street. Pass everything with flying colors. There's a 6-inch steel plate. I have ticket waiver, citation waiver, you know what I'm saying, or morality waiver.
Yep.
Ticket. I have a medical waiver I need, and an age waiver. 3 waivers. 2 people fight for me. I'll never know the woman's name because she didn't want it revealed to me from the NGD. But my recruiter here is the only other one I'll send other programs. Man, these 2 people fought for me, bro. I remember the day was October 15th. No, I'm sorry. September 15th. October was fiscal year, right? September 15th. Gary calls me up in the morning and says, "You sitting down?" I said, "No, sir. Should I be?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I got some bad news." I got bad news. He says, "Your illustrious administration in the White House has cut all the funding for your religions." I said, "Staff Sergeant, I'm 32 in January." He says, "I know." I sat down and cried a river, bro. Last conversation I had with my father, we spoke every morning, was I needed to go back. The very last conversation I had with my father was I needed to go back. Because it was so much in my heart. And I bawled, man. I bawled because it was like, I don't get into religion, but it was like divine intervention that I was being told, "You got 6 months left, bud. Do this now. Your father just died. The last thing you said to him was this. Do it now." And we fought for it. And it was to no avail. That's why I said to you the other day, if they ever open it up to 48, call me. Call me. I'm gone, bro. I'm gone. I'll be at MEPS in the morning before anybody gets there. I promise you that. I'll be sitting on the front step. They'll say, "What are you doing?" I say, "I'm going to sit here like Fight Club until y'all take me back." Bluntly. I'm done. Civilian world wasn't for me. But I get with my wife, and life started to get better. We bought a house on 5 acres with her dad in with us. Son. She has a son she brought into the mix. He is 29 years old. I promise you this empty nest is amazing. It is amazing. You and that queen are going to have a good time, man. I promise you. Just got to be patient. It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. To be able to wake up and walk without anything on across the house.
My wife's the opposite. She does not want an empty nest. If it was up to her, we'd have 15 kids right now. I had to cut it off, man.
Wow. I love her for it. That's the kind you want, though, bro. You got you a good one. That, and I would expect no less. That picture you put up the other day, I like that. Hey, grown folks talking.
Now, I wanna hit something real quick. And we've talked about the struggle, right? And we talked about like the change, right? What changed inside of you to allow the change?
I looked inward. Honestly, I wasn't expecting one like that. I looked inward. But it was a while yet before I looked inward. At that point in time, it was just, I had met somebody that, man, what a friend. Like, my wife is the kind of person you want to be friends with. Genuine soul, good person. You know, like, would never been in a physical altercation in her life. Ain't got a speeding ticket, bro. I have corrupted this poor woman. God, she is such a good soul.
You mentioned another name too that you said we'd get to. right? What was that? What was that other name, and what was the influence they had?
I do not have my glasses on. Please don't tell me he has walked into your chat or my chat. I'll
No,
lose my mind.
I don't think so.
I
But
will lose my mind. I'm gonna. Okay. So, Deb and I, brother, I waited 13 fucking years to stray on my woman and shit on the greatest thing I've ever had. I'm talking, she picked me up out of the fucking gutter, bro, and she's a rock star. One of the best souls you've ever met. She picked me up out of the gutter, dusted me off, and made me a better person. And we hit a point where times got tough. And I wound up, we worked together. When I say we're together, we are together 24 hours a day. And we have been for over 10 years. We work together on a job site. She's the best cut man I've ever had. Best cut man I've ever had. What a perfect partner on a job site. The problem is, she is 4'11", a $120 soaking wet, bro. So there's not a whole lot she can do that I can do physically. She don't get on a roof, I do, you know. But she's an amazing partner to have for it, and she carries her own amazingly. Now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we do not argue. I can count the amount of arguments we've had on one hand. We don't do it. 15 years. When I got with her, I said, I'm tired of arguing. I've spent 7 years doing it. If that's the kind of thing that you want to do, I don't want to do it, and we just won't work. You know, I was very upfront and honest with her. I said, I'm not settling. I want this, 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 and this, and this is how it's going to be. And she said she agreed, and dude, for all of you listening who think there ain't nobody out there who agrees with that, there are. There's a lot of people who agree with that, man. A lot of them. And I got lucky and found one. It took me until I was 33 years old, almost, to find that. 32. So, we started out, bought a house, living the family life. There was a lot of animosity with her father. He wound up leaving. It wound up being us and Richie, our son. As happens in most stepfather and stepson relationships, there became a rift that we didn't speak for over a year. One of the least proud moments of my life, brother. He deserved better than that, the way that I carried myself. And he didn't have that coming. He didn't. But life had started to get hard. Bills racking up. We were broke, man. And I wasn't going to go back to the street pharmacy. I'm never going to do that, bro. You look over your shoulder more than anything else, and I'm never going to do that again. I'm not. I just refuse. So we lived it honestly. Jobs, working, struggling. We're still struggling, man. It's a check-to-check life. It is. That's one of the reasons I came here. We'll get into that later. But we were making it work. Moved a little bit further north, get closer to our work, and just started living life. Our son meets a woman. She winds up pregnant with another guy's kid. Long story short, he's in the same situation I'm in. She skips town, leaves with the kid, and he never sees her again. Now my son's broken like I'm broken after we've just patched up what we have. What in the... Dude, you never want that for your son. Never. You know, you don't want that for your worst enemy. To have him go through it broke me. Really hurt me. Watching him hurt like that. Watching him cry. His rebuild was fucking phenomenal, bro. What a guy. He's become an amazing dad. He met a woman, gave us our first grandchild last year. Finally something during this interview to smile about. God, dude, that hits different. Oh, that hits different. That little girl is my heart and soul. Son. Wow. But Deb and I hit hard times again when we hit the empty nest. And I was given an offer to bounce a bar again. Biggest fucking mistake of my life. A lot of bad things happen in bars, dude. And after being with this woman for 13 years, I turned around and I shit on it. And when she found out, my life fucking fell apart. And that was when the statistic that we all dread started to creep into my life. I hated myself, man. Now, I've never really liked me. And to give you some real good context with it, I've never felt a part of any group I've ever been involved in. And that's a character flaw I have. That's that self-doubt flaw. You know, you don't know whether people are tolerating you or it's honest love. That's what I mean. That's where it is, you know, and it is gut-wrenching to feel that way. And I felt that way. Fuck, man. Where's he at? Is he still in this chat? No, he ain't. I felt that way until Top fucking met me. And he started introducing me to all of you. And I mean Black Hawk. Until I met that man and he started introducing me to you guys, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere except with my wife. Not at work, not in the service, not playing sports as a kid, not as a coach as an adult, not in any relationship. Y'all have made me feel welcome. Not since my parents passed.
I that's a huge compliment. Appreciate that tremendously.
Hard fucking thing to come out of your mouth and understand how true that statement is. A lot of years I did not feel like I belonged any fucking where. And when I broke that woman, fuck, I've never seen a woman cry like that, dude. I did that. Since my mother was around, nobody believed in me like she did. And I broke her soul. And I had gone from somebody who didn't like himself his whole life to somebody who despised his life. And I started making plans, Sergeant Major. And they weren't good. Started thinking about different ways, and we're going to be, like I said, transparent here. Started thinking about different ways that I could do it in such a way that I couldn't do it at the house, man. I can't have her clean that up. Couldn't do it in the vehicle because what's she going to drive? We have one truck. I figured out that there was a bunch of trails around here, populated trails, that people take their Jeeps and everything down, their four-wheel drives down. Figured out the method. We are Second Amendment lovers in this house. That was easy. Definitely had the reason, bro. Definitely had the reason. At this point in time, I had figured out a way to fuck up everything I've ever touched. Everything, bro. Everything I've ever loved, I fucked it up until that point. Couldn't have kids. was stuck in a career that I love building houses, man. I do. I build people's dreams every day. I just started the biggest house I've ever built, 18,000 square foot. I build people's dreams for a living. It's very fulfilling, but it's a thankless, painful job. I hurt from head to toe every day at 48 years old. So I had every reason in my head and it justified it in every way. One thing I didn't come up with was the win. And every time I wanted to, brother, and as though nobody else is in this chat and you and I are having this discussion, every time I wanted to, man, somebody made me bitch up, bro. My boss would say something at work. Something friendly, and he and I are very tight. We're good friends. The wife would say something. Son would say something. The dog would look at me in a certain way. And I just, one more day. And I laid there doom scrolling one night. And the first thing, now I've never watched a podcast at this point in my life. This is 2.5 years ago. Now we're catching up. Never watched a podcast in my life, man. First thing that I come across is Michael Beasley. I know you know who I'm talking about. Did you see the interview on The Pivot?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Okay. The interview, the moment on The Pivot where he says, no disrespect to y'all, but I've been looking for people for so long, I'm just tired. That, I felt it. And I watched it a few times. Now on Facebook, what happens when you do that a few times? Now you get something in your algorithm, right? The very next clip is the Sean Ryan Show, DJ Shipley, talking about getting hit from about 6 foot out in the plate. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen that.
He gets engaged, and the guy sends like 6 shots down range at him, and they're point blank, brother. And he gets hit, but he doesn't know it. Guy misses every other shot. He gets hit in the magazine. Bro, right next to the blasting caps. Like, dude, this was really almost bad for everybody involved. And being from a Vietnam-era soldier, my father and I have had many discussions about what he went through over there. You know how our Nam vets love to talk to another soldier about it, to another vet. I heard that, and bro, it made me hungry. Oh, I gotta hear more. I open up my phone, search him on YouTube, DJ Shipley and Sean Ryan. 4 hours and 48 minutes. What? Man, you cannot hold my attention for 4 hours and 48 minutes. This is not fucking happening. I don't care. Bro, the next day I started it. And I'm working alone that day. Deb has something she's got, or she wasn't feeling good. So I am at work. Rare time I'm alone, and I put it on the radio. And he goes through his whole service. Bro, what a commando. What a great story. And when he hits post-transition, I wanted to turn it off, but I had my hands full. And he goes into transition. And at the end of 4 hours and 48 minutes, I was sitting on a concrete block in the corner of the house by myself. Nobody else was there that day. And I was bawling, bro. Bawling. I had never heard of another human being planning the event with the forethought of things of her. What brought him to it, the final straw, was the same thing that was the final straw for me. Breaking the heart of the one person that mattered the most. The words that came out of his mouth that changed my life forever were, I'll never forget the look on her face. I've never seen a woman cry like that. It is the only regret I have and the only thing that keeps me up at night. To this day, my wife and I are thick as thieves, brother. To this day, I still have nightmares, and it's the only thing that keeps me up at night. I broke her soul. And he gets into how he fixed his life, which he went down, I mentioned it in Blackhawks chat today. He went down to Mexico and did the Ibogaine and 5-MeO-T treatment for his demons, and it righted the wrong. But while he was gone, his wife found everything. And that's how things fell apart. My wife found everything. And that's how things had fallen apart for me. I have not gotten the privilege of going to Mexico. I would absolutely love that, but I refuse to go down unless that man, and I've had a discussion and I get an invite. It would kind of mean something to me. That goes pretty deep. I have reached out to him. I've reached out to his trainer who helped to save his life, Vernon Griffith. I have spoken to Vernon. I have not spoken to DJ. I will lose my mind that day. I can promise you that. Shameless plug again. If you're looking for some of the best battlefield gear and the premier battlefield tactics on the planet, look up GBRS Group. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. I've probably watched that podcast 100 times in the last 2.5 years. He says, find somebody to emulate and follow that path. So I started looking into this guy. I made a conscious decision because he said one of my favorite quotes of all time. People talk about becoming a statistic every day, right? They just do. Favorite thing to tell people is, listen, and there's several of my messages I've said this to, and it's worked beautifully. So clip this, highlight it, do whatever you can, but the man put it perfect. You're making that decision right now at your low. Let's get you back to optimal. If you want to make that decision at an optimal point, we'll talk about it. But let's not do it today. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's make that decision tomorrow. Let's get you back to that optimal point first. So you're not making that decision at the low. That kind of sunk with me. And the way that I explain it is, brother, if you're at my house right now, and if you ever come to my house, I ask you ahead of time, what do you want to drink? And that could be an alcoholic drink. It could be water. It could be
big bourbon guy.
But if you were dying of thirst, brother, I'm a Southern Comfort and Crown fan myself. If you were dying of thirst, and I told you what is the one drink that would quench that thirst the most, what is it?
Water. It's water.
Mine is milk. I go through over a gallon of milk a day in this house. I drink it constantly. Mine has always been milk. Well, DJ Shipley was my glass of milk because everybody my whole life has told me, you're worth this, you're worth that, you're better, you'll be all right, you can get through this, you can get through that. None of it ever made sense until that glass of milk got thrown into my lap. And that glass of milk was him. It quenched that thirst for knowledge, that thirst for a reason to stay around. And it gave me the thought process that maybe I can make it through this. If this commando, who is a legend in the SEAL community and an amazing soul, can actually come back from the same thing, why can't I? Why can't I? So I started to work on that. His routine starts at 0400, or his routine starts at 0600. He gets up at 0500. My routine starts at 0415 because I got to be on a job site at 7 o'clock. So at 4:15 in the morning, I'm unracking in the home gym. Fitness first. Why? For everybody listening, I'm dead ass serious about this. Take the first 2 hours of your day and be selfish as fuck. Are you married? Don't include her. No. Kids, let the kids sleep. Oh, that followed you. That was badass. That was bad. Dude, you're a horse.
I had to drop my fan. I'm sorry.
We ain't never boxing, dude. You are a house, brother. Jesus. You a biggin'. I'm only 2 bills, man. Damn.
You call me thick, huh? You call me thick?
Just a little bit, brother. So at 04:15, at 0400, I'm up 5 days a week, 5 a.m. on the weekends. By 4:15, 4:20, I am unracked in the gym and pushing. If I'm not doing weights, I'm doing a military-style calisthenics. Mama was gone at 51. Dad was gone 8 years later, bro. I'm 48. I got to be around. So I get my fitness in first. First 2 hours of your day belong to you. Why? Be selfish as fuck. Why? I'm telling you. Because the other 22 hours, you can now afford to be selfless. You can be about everybody else. Get your fitness in. Get your day started right. My day starts with that fitness. My clothes are out the night before. My medications are ready. My workout stuff is ready. Testosterone therapy is ready. Everything is ready. Go out, do my workout, come back in, take a contrast shower, get dressed, get ready for work, get all loaded up. By the time I leave the door, I've had 10 micro wins in 2 hours. My day can now start on a positive note. Then for the next 22 hours, I am available to do whatever you need. Whatever you need. And I'll do it at the drop of a hat. But be selfish at first to be selfless later. When he preached that to me, I went, ooh. It's a program I can get on here. 2 hours to me. And I'm blessed because not too many people have a wife that understands that. She'll come out on the back porch to see me, and I'll give her a kiss. But we don't have conversations until I'm done. Those first 2 hours belong to me because I'm trying to be about her, about you, about the guy I meet in the gas station that I just shake his hand, the guy who reads the hashtag on the back of my shirt and goes, "What's that? What's that?" The people you see in everyday life. I want to be about those people. I want to be able to help them. And I spent the next 6 months of my life on eggshells in my house because you never know. She could get smart. Before I finally realized that every day I've been working to still have a place at the table. So I still do that. 2.5 years later, every day I'm working for a place at the table. And it has been amazing. That woman didn't deserve that. And it was more ego than anything else. Being around that environment, your ego starts it eventually hits that point where you're top dog. You're working security at a bar. You're the only security at a bar. Everybody's looking at you. Now they got you DJing. Now everybody's really looking at you. I taught line dance lessons. There's 3 things. Yeah, that third strike, it got to me. And I really fucked up. and I learned a valuable fucking lesson for it. Sometimes the answers are right in front of you. You're just afraid to look at them and afraid to understand, you know. That's where the answer is. The grass ain't always greener. We can use a million different analogies and cliches here. But the bottom line at the end of the day is when you take somebody for life, you take them for life. And I got blessed. Man, I tell everybody, the broke redneck went shopping at Tiffany's and went home with the diamond, you know. I'm used to flea market shopping. I wound up shopping at Tiffany's, and look at what I came home with. You know, I got a dime that is better on the inside than she is on the outside. Which brings us to how we met, you and I. Long story short, you still there?
I'm locked
in.
I'm locked in right now.
This is where TikTok come in. So, long story short, my wife and I live a different lifestyle. We've been, since before the movie 50 Shades of Grey, we've been in the BDSM community. And on Facebook...
Hold on. You're talking about how we met, and you're bringing up BDSM now. You better watch it. You better watch it.
Clip it! So, I ran a bunch of lifestyle community groups on Facebook for years. And Facebook became so toxic, I walked away. Cannot have this anymore. Still have an account. Still have a messenger. I don't go on it. It's just toxic. I don't like talking about politics. You want to talk about something? Let's talk about the military. Keep the politics out of it. That's a subject I love. Near and dear to my heart. So, I walked away from that. And I really had walked away from social media the majority of the time since I had strayed on my wife. I walked away from everything. I wanted it to be about me and her. That was it. December 6th, I am sitting in, no, December 7th, because I did do it the same day. I'm sitting in my truck on a job site. We're talking about a Sean Ryan episode, honestly, and about the 22 a day. And this is me and my wife talking. We talk constantly like literal best friends do. Always engaged in some sort of dialogue. And she says, "You're so passionate about this. You should take it to TikTok." Now, I tried to do that with the line dancing gig, and the lives didn't work. You know, it wasn't going to really make any money. And let's be honest, a lot of us, the majority of us, that aren't just doom scrolling here, we're here to make a living. We're here to make a difference. We're here for it. My main goal is a YouTube podcast because the money is in the advertising. Bluntly, brother, the money is in the advertising on that app. Big money. That's how all these big guys are making big money, is in that advertising. Views pay a certain amount, but I get on here and she's like, "You need to talk to people about, you know, mental health." And I'm like, nobody's ever going to listen to me. I'm a broke dude from the middle of Florida. I've never done anything special in my life to be relevant. It's a big thing for me, is being relevant in life. Never been relevant for anything. You did all of this on Facebook, and brother, I mean, she's screaming at me in my truck, yelling at me, scolding me like mom. I'm like, the wife is telling me to get on social media. I don't know. So my boss calls. We talk every day. We're very good friends. He says, "You know, what's going on, Jay?" I said, "Getting yelled at by your little counterpart here. She won't stop yelling at me because she says I need to go on the TikTok and start talking to people about mental health, specifically veteran mental health." And now I have her in the passenger seat screaming at me about this, and he comes over to Bluetooth speakers doing the same shit. I'm like, whoa, time out. They're both yelling. I said, all right, fine. End of the day today, I'll start. Make a TikTok. Post a couple of videos, which was the hardest thing to learn in the world at the beginning for me. It is for all of us. That's tough, man. That's tough. And I didn't want to put my face on it. So I had no user content for probably the first 3-4 weeks. I just started making, I bought an AI program, started making AI videos, started adding text to it. The next thing I know, I'm going to the growth rooms, the engagement rooms. I'm meeting people. I'm meeting quality people, people engaging. I'm meeting people in the veteran community. I make a friend. Oscar, if you're in here, I love you, brother. Spoke to him this morning. I speak to him on a regular basis. First friend I made on this app is in the Navy. Right now he's in California. Just got there from here in Florida. First friend I made on it, and we talk regularly. Started having my messenger fill up with people who, brother, they wanted to talk. But the problem is half of them, because my growth was starting to come from engagement rooms, half of them were not vets. And they wanted to know where they could go. So my page went from being just about helping vets to fucking helping everybody. This is a pandemic or an epidemic for the world. It's not just veterans. My heart and soul is with veteran mental health. But if you call me and you are the bag boy at the grocery store and you want to talk about it, I will stop the world for you. That's been my biggest problem here, is when this messenger goes off and somebody wants to talk, I stop the world. I stop the world. We're going to talk. You know, not on my watch. I have no other way to put it, bro. Not on my watch, like it would not be on your watch either, bro, if you have the opportunity to keep it from happening. About 4 weeks in, I heard something, and I did my first user content, and didn't think it would go over very well. And what it amounts to is, it's way back. I'm wearing a Yellowstone hoodie. Shout out to the Yellowstone universe, Taylor Sheridan. We still got problems. He ended my favorite show, but I digress. It was done in the cold of winter, and I had heard something about being a vet and would you go back. And my take on it is this. As a veteran, it is my duty to put my life on the line at any given time, because that contract never expires. This is a great segue for us. Never expires. I would put my life on the line for anybody in this country. That is my duty. If you are a patriot, it is my honor. I didn't think anybody would really understand what I was trying to say there. Overnight, there was like 3,000 views on it, and I went from 300 views to 3,000 views overnight. Okay, maybe I need to put my face on there. Then I put another one with my face on there, and it gets like 150 views. So I'm bouncing back and forth. I'm still not thinking I'm worth anything on this. You know, ain't nobody going to listen to me. A couple weeks later, I post something. That some bitch hits 50,000 views. Okay, now it's like a gambling addiction, you know? Oh, the money's coming in, I'm going to keep riding this high, and then it dropped back down. And my views kept going up and down. When they did the TikTok switch, I lost a lot. Had to relearn how to fight with this algorithm, and we're still fighting it. And then in this room, shout out to Miss Megs, because she's not on the platform right now. She's taking a little bit of a vacation. But Megs with the blue heart, I went into her room and went over 10,000. She helped me to learn. She was my first TikTok mentor. She helped me to learn to create, learn to promote myself, learn how to share, learn how to to go into those rooms and not get shit people, dirty deleters that follow you because they're trying, it's all a numbers game for them, but to actually find quality people. And it was fantastic. It went on for, since I started going in there, I had 250 followers. And the last time she was on, I had 10,500. And she threw a party for me the night that we hit 10K because she knew that this is something that I want to make work. And that number is a huge goal on this platform. You know, first number is 1,000, then the next number is 5,000, then the next number is 10,000. That 10,000 was a huge mark. And I fought hard and met people in it. The best way I can explain to fight this algorithm is when people talk to you in your comments, talk to them. Talk to them. It pushes it out. It pushes it out. And it's not just that, but then you start to realize that you're helping people. You're actually doing what we all as vets are here, in active duty, are here for. To help people. Like, I have learned through this app that the best healing I've ever had is through helping somebody else heal. Getting to talk about it. The greatest feeling is for me to wake up in the morning and see a couple messages in my messenger of guys that touch and go at the beginning of this. Now we talk every day. Every day. It is so amazing. It hurts some of my content sometimes because I wind up rushing. I don't get to post as much, or I don't get to get on live as much. But I'm here for this help. I've been trying to get into the battle scene. It's just not working out for me, man. I don't get anybody in the chat. You know, we did the one with Rivera the other week, you know. That whole battle, man, my wife, my son, and I think 4 other people walked into my side. I was like, damn. But that kid's got a new kid. You know, he's starting out fresh. I would rather have the proceeds that come out of that go to him at that point. That's the guy I am. You know, I'd rather him see that. That baby needs things, bro. Every little bit counts. You know better than any of us right now, bro.
100%.
6? You know, man, every little bit counts. So I was so happy for him that it hit like that. I was hoping. I really was. Like, my wife was sitting there with me, and she wanted, you know, I wanted it to be close. I didn't. Be dead honest, I didn't. He's just starting out in life, man. I'm twice his age. You know, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Now my goal, my main goal, is to take this to that Big Red app and start healing people, dude. Start having... You stole this, bro. Here's my idea. Okay, tell me this ain't cool. Everybody on their interviews, politicians, you know, religious figures, soldiers, tier 1 operators, you know, big time celebrities. What about that Joe Blow who's fought for 48 years and is finally starting to get it right? That's my main goal. And I let that woman Meg know that. That's how I want to help people. And she has been all for it and been in my corner, and not too many people in my personal life have been in my corner. It's different on the app. And then one day Blackhawk walks in there. And he's in and out. But when you read that as a soldier, as a vet, when you read that screen name, right away you already know. It's kind of like my tattoos. As soon as you read that, when I go to give you knuckles, you already know. You already know, I serve. So when I read his screen name, I was like, really? Clicked on it, saw a few videos, read, learned about the dude. I go back and I ask her about him. boy, she sang his praises. They had already talked and met, and then she sang his praises. All right, so I gotta talk to this guy. I watch a video on his story. He's leaving for a camping vacation for a week. All right. Well, I'm going to send him a message, and he'll get back to me maybe, if he ain't such a busy dude, when he gets back from his vacation. That man messaged me 5 minutes later while he was on vacation. That meant a lot. It meant a lot. I didn't know what would snowball from there. We spoke for quite a while, and now he is absolutely one of my favorite people, man, like you. I didn't have guys like you, Sergeant Major Rhodes, like I was saying, Sweezy, Camo Talk, Drill Sergeant, Modern. I didn't have any of these people in my repertoire. And I never thought people of, I don't know how to say this, bro, people of y'all's caliber would even want me around, because I've always felt irrelevant in everything I've ever done. And I've sat in the back corner, bro, in a lot of lives. I don't speak up much because y'all have so much more experience with this from me. I am one of DJ Shipley's best things. He says he's a knowledge transfer specialist. I am a knowledge reception specialist. I want the knowledge you guys have. And when you have those leadership lives, bro, I'm sitting like this, holding a shirt pocket open, catching pearls, man, the whole time. That's all I want to do. I want to hear y'all. I want to get all of this knowledge that y'all are given, because it does not just apply to the military. It applies to civilian life. I would rather it be in the military that it's applying for me, but I can deal with it. And the knowledge that comes out of you guys is immense. So that's what I listen to. And I never think, my whole life, I've never thought I was that relevant. You know, it's kind of why I don't do the battling so much. And I just feel, I'd rather sit here and listen and learn and try to help people behind the scenes. I don't ever have to be the big fish in the pond. I'd rather be your right-hand man than be the big boss. I'd rather be the guy that... Did you watch Yellowstone, bro?
I did up until like the third or fourth season. It started like getting real crazy.
In a world full of John Duttons and Caseys, I'd rather be a Rip. I'd rather be that guy that you go to that says, not the physical aspect of hurting somebody. I'd rather be that guy that you go to and say, I need something done, and I'll go, I'm on it. I'm on it.
I just posted a video about that, and I think it fits perfect. Is like, there's two types of people that you invite to a barbecue, right? You invite the people that you ask them to bring paper plates and utensils. And then there's other people you invite that bring the mac salad, the potato salad, the fire sides that make a barbecue, right? I think that fits perfect.
Man, you're going to make me catch a flight to Hawaii. Making me hungry, bro. My inner fat boy is speaking. So I never thought that this would actually become a thing for me. I never did. And now it has started to become a thing. And I don't even know. Fuck, man. I don't know how to describe how humble I am. Sitting here right now with you. Is this really happening, bro? Like, you are doing right now, what we're doing is what I want to do for a living, for the rest of my life. I don't want to make any money off of the vets. The advertising shit will happen, and that's how I'll make money. I have a career right now. If honestly, I never be able to get a podcast off of the ground on YouTube. I have a career. I'm very, very good at what I do. I can eat. I can pay the bills, keep a roof over our head. I'm not worried about it. The most dangerous thing about that is I don't have anything to lose then. Not at all.
It goes back to your plan B. It goes back to your plan B.
That's the thing. Let's go to that. I have used a plan B every time, and it's been carpentry. I have failed 9 times or 8 times in my life with a career. Everything from sales to the military to, and when I say failed, I just I didn't keep going with it. I switched and went to something else. I switched and went to this. I switched and went to this. The thing that I've gone back on the most is framing. I went to become a police officer. I was the second in my class. Graduated second in class. Got hired by the local sheriff's office or a small municipality north of here. The man who convinced me to go in, because as a coach, you coach all sorts of kids, and every LE officer that has a kid has them involved in youth sports. So you get to know everybody. I'm in a small county. Citrus County is like 335,000 people. That's it. So in a small place like that, you know the payroll of the cops. They convinced me to go in. I passed 10 months of framing during the day, going to the police academy at night. 10 months. Passed, got hired. But right before my last interview, same man who got me to go in says, "Let me ask you something, Jay. If you pulled up at my house and caught a man beating on my wife or my daughter, can you be a cop?" And the answer is bluntly no. That man doesn't make the ER. He went to the morgue. There's no way. He doesn't go to jail. I would seriously hate that. He says, "Well, you need to remember that because of what they do to cops in prison." So I went back to framing. That's been my fallback all along. Now it's not a fallback. This is a go or bust. I mentioned we just started that 18,000 square foot house. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a year-long project. We've got 1 year. I want to be retired from framing in 1 year. This weekend when I get back from our little family road trip we're fixing to take for the day tomorrow, I'm starting to transfer everything over to the other app. I'm not leaving TikTok. I love this. This is my new Call of Duty. I love helping people. It is so addicting, bro. But I'm going to start transferring things over there. You have helped light that fire. You really have. I really want to do this, man. Because I think if I can get enough people on there telling their stories of hardship, maybe it'd be somebody's glass of milk, dude. 1 person a day is all I'm trying to do. 1, and you guys have been amazing for it. I am having the time of my life getting to know you guys. You know, it's humbling. It's humbling. Hearing things like behind the curtains, every day I have to go and look and re-listen to his story. At least one of them. And Sergeant Major, if you hear this, man, I'm going to tell you right now, that story means a lot. It is so cool to hear somebody's story as they're going. Those are the things, as a vet, man, you hang on that. If you went to the VFW and that older gentleman sitting there at the bar started to tell you his story, what you going to do? Bro, I'm popping a squat. I got to hear all this, man. I love it. I'm grateful for this community. Lately, here's that segue. Lately, it's been a little different. I don't know that I've been as mad in a long time as I was the other day when I made that 8-minute rant. Brother, I don't know. Do you want to talk about this?
Absolutely. It's a hot topic for me too.
What set that off is I fell across a live that morning that said, I overheard somebody say several times, we're veterans, they're active duty, stay in our lane. It irked me so bad. That was take 21 to do that video. I sat in this very seat, and the first one was bad, bro. I was nasty. When I went in, I hung on every vet's words. They're the ones who've been there before us. To hear it done that way, or to hear it's a new age military, we need to stay out of it. Stay out of it? Bro, like, this was our lane before it was somebody else's lane. This was my lane, or this was my dad's lane before it was my lane. It was his dad's lane before it was his lane. And if we don't keep, we are our brother's keeper. That's the main thing. You know, just because I signed that contract and I'm not serving anymore, doesn't mean that contract's null and void. There is no expiration date on that paper. None. And to hear someone actually saying those words, and it wasn't just in one place, it was bothering the hell out of me. And by the time I got home and I sat down in the chair, I had had enough. I had listened to it all day. I had heard it from several different places, because you know the algorithm starts throwing you that way. And I went off. And that's why I came in and apologized, because it was like, I don't ever, God, I have so much respect for you guys. I don't ever want to upset any of you. But at the same time, bro, our lane? Really? Like, this is a brotherhood. What happened to No Man Left Behind? Helping out a fallen comrade. Like the camo talk thing. Bro, I don't care what your rank is. If you were having problems passing the standards, yo, I'm here. I'll break my back to help you go through it. Man, you're my brother. I don't care if you got 4 stars or 1 stripe. I wouldn't leave you on the battlefield. I'm damn sure not going to leave you in this battlefield. And the best way I can put this, and everybody on Mill Talk and Vet Talk right now that is listening or that ever sees this, who is saying it's not our business, stay in our lane, or let the active duty, let their chain of command take care of it. I respect that. God, do I respect that. The chain of command part. However, if your son came to my house and he was being bullied at school, I'm not going to get into the physical of it, but he was asking me for advice. He was hanging out with my son and he just asked me for advice over being bullied at school, like being bullied on TikTok, or being talked about on TikTok, and being talked about in school. And I gave him advice. Was I supposed to stay in my lane? Or was I supposed to help him? I'm supposed to help him. As an adult male, it's our job. It takes a village.
It's a community.
Dude, to hear them say it like it's not a community just infuriated me, man. We cannot be that way. And all of those that I'm infuriated with, man, I would still stand side by side, shoulder to shoulder with you and support you and defend you with my last breath. We are still brethren. But no, I'm not staying in my lane. I'm trying to help. I was helping a soldier this morning on the phone. You know, he's just asking for advice. I give him the best I can give him. And show him the best love I can. You know, some of the things that have happened, the goofy stuff that's happened, we'll just leave it at that. It's not bullying. No, some of it was taken too far. Yes, I agree. But at the same time, I love you, bro. You are an amazing soul. But if we were in a fob together in the same tent and you fell asleep in the middle of a conversation with me, it don't go on social media, but I did something. I don't care if I tied your shoelaces to the bed, your bootlaces to the bed. I did something. Why? Because that's our coping mechanism. You know, that humor is our coping mechanism. So when it comes to some of the goofy stuff that has been going on online, man, we're just trying to fucking welcome some people. If you sign that contract, then I'm going to treat you like a brother. Bluntly. If you're my brother, I'm going to treat you as such. I'm going to show you the same love. I'm going to show you the same respect. I'm going to goof with you. I'm going to pick on you. We're going to have banter. And at the same time, when you hit your ass, I'm going to pick you up. When you're out of line, I'm going to let you know. You know, I hate seeing, like I saw the other day, a soldier with every tool to excel. Man, dude, he has got every tool. But he don't listen. There's two forms of listening. There is a listen to reply. You're listening because you want your chance to talk. And then there is a listen to comprehend. They're not listening to comprehend right now, man, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Because the moment that these soldiers who are not doing that they listen to comprehend, bam. Talk about an asset to the military. Talk about a real asset. I'm talking about born leaders, and they don't want to act the part. You cannot disgrace this uniform. That's got to be something like you said, bro. When it's finally put on, and when you're there, dude, I'd give anything to be there with you. Anything. I say it all the time. I'm sorry I didn't stay. But I swear to you, if they say 48, call me. I'm there tomorrow. What I don't get is, bro, every other country can do it. Why can't we? Come on, man. Come on. I'll sign anything. Anything.
Jay, I got two more questions for you. All right. And the first one is this one. If you can go back and give 20-year-old Jay one piece of advice, what would it be?
Never, ever leave. Never. Do not leave the service. Do not. There's got to be a 20-year-old Jay out there. Look me in my eyes. Don't leave. I don't care how hard it gets, how boring it gets, how anything it gets. Re-up. Stay in. You don't like it? Cross-train to another branch. You can do that. Switch to another branch. Stay. Stay. Don't be the guy standing there in that fucking mirror tomorrow morning. Tomorrow I don't work. Tomorrow morning I'm going to stand in that mirror. I'm going to look at myself in the eye and go, you should have stayed in the service. There won't be a day that goes by for me that I don't do that. There won't be a day. It breaks my heart that I left. It does. But now, I guess one of the big reasons I'm doing this is because I'm trying to make up for that. If I can't serve in a uniform, I could serve us out here.
I love it. I love it. The last thing I got for you. Leave us with one message for anyone who's struggling right now. Veteran, active, civilian. Leave us with one message for anyone who is struggling right now.
Find me. Find me. Seriously, find me. Reach out. You don't have to find me. Find somebody else. Find somebody. Talk to them. But I'm available. Find me. Find me. I will stop. I will stop what I'm doing. Find me. If the people that I'm around don't understand why I'm stopping what I'm doing, they don't need to be around. I have a mission here. You know, you spend your whole life hurting. It's time to stop. I've hurt, I've fucked everything up. I've done it all myself. And man, if you don't reach out, dude, don't get tired. The moment they say they're tired, that's it. They're looking for that reset button, man. Don't get tired. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. You know? Don't lay there and doom scroll. Get up and talk to somebody. It's not laying there with your phone doing that doom scroll. It's not helping. It's not helping. Reach out. Talk to somebody. I'm telling you, I'm here. I'm here. This gentleman here, he's here. You know, so many people in this community. That's why we put this community together. That's why it is like it is. Everywhere you turn on this, you can reach out. And if you don't have this app, you don't need to be on this app. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. 988. 988. I promise you. Find somebody. Find somebody. Don't let it happen. Don't let it go.
Jay,
Don't let it get up.
I greatly appreciate it. I hope you had as much time telling your story as I did listening to it.
Yeah, bro, that was a little rough on me, man. I haven't been able to put things like that into words, man. I am more grateful than you can imagine. That was therapeutic.
Make sure you refill up the middle tank, right? We talked about some serious stuff. So for anyone in the chat, a lot of people talk about, whether it's trauma or past experiences, that it's healthy to kind of tell those stories. The next one I'm doing, that's the reason why you want to do it. Active duty soldier. Just give you guys a quick background. He was basically earned the title ACE for counter UAV engagements. Likely area that we'll be talking about is somewhere out in the Middle East, and I'm really excited for that one. But one of the reasons why he's getting on is he said it's going to help with his healing, right? With that said, it can be very emotionally draining, right? So Jay, make sure you refill that tank. Go give that beautiful woman a hug and a kiss, right? Your rock, your anchor, right? And make sure you refill your tank too, brother.
Thank you, man. This has definitely been therapeutic. I appreciate you. This will come back to you. This will. We're going to have to do this the other way. Because the problem I have with this whole thing we did is we didn't get yours.
So I'm not here. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you guys right now. Hey, you invite me. I got you. I got you.
You keep being about everybody else. Let me get this set up. It's time. Because I want this story. Now you have me intrigued. How did you get to being you from what you've been through?
You set it up. I'm more than willing to share the story, brother.
I am more grateful than I can be for all of you. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to head out, kind of reset for Leadership Live here in about an hour and a half or so.
I will probably be in there. It is going to be date night here after I get off of this. So, but we'll probably have this on. Brother, I love you. Be safe. Thank you. Thank you. One person a day, man. That's all it takes, man. We're trying to help them. Thank you for being you, man.
100%. I'll catch you, brother.
Be careful.